welcome to Catherine's tutorial. In this video, we'll learn about transcription. What is transcription? It is nothing but the DNA encodes a message or it gives a message to the mRNA to produce protein. So this is known as transcription. DNA is a longer molecule, it is about 2.2 meter in length, which cannot able to come out of the nucleus. Instead, it transcribes a message into mRNA, where mRNA carries the information to the cytoplasm. With the help of all the cytoplasmic organelle like ribosomes and tRNA, they can able to produce amino acids or protein that is specific, that is encoded by the DNA. So that is known as transcription. Now we'll move on to the exact process of transcription. So transcription is nothing but stranded DNA molecule synthesizes single-stranded mRNA to encode the information for the production of protein, and this process is known as transcription. When this mRNA carries the information to the cytoplasm to produce specific proteins, now it is known as translation. So here the flow of information is from DNA to mRNA to produce protein. So the flow of information is towards one direction. So it is known as one-way flow of information. One-way flow of information, or it is also known as central dogma. Central dogma, which was given by Crick in the year 1958. So to encode how the information, or to explain how the information has been carried through the mRNA to produce protein, and this way of information is known as one-way flow of information. It is also known as central dogma, which was given by Crick in the year 1958. The other thing, this process will happen in case of organism which contains DNA as genetic material. In case of organism which contain RNA as genetic material, the flow of information is reverse. That is why this is also known as reverse transcription. So what happens here? The RNA transcribes the information into DNA by reverse transcription. From DNA, the message is given to mRNA by transcription process from mRNA to the cytoplasm to produce protein, which is known as translation. So here the flow of information is reversed, where the RNA transcribes a message into DNA by means of reverse transcription process, and DNA gives a message to the mRNA by means of again a transcription. From mRNA it produces protein. So this information is totally reversed, and that is why it is known as inverse flow of information, or it is also known as central dogma reverse. Central dogma reverse. And this was given by Baltimore. This was identified by Baltimore in the year 1970. Okay. So the process of transcription is reversed in case of organism which contain RNA as genetic material. In case of organism which contain DNA as genetic material, the information goes from DNA to mRNA, then to the protein. So it is one-way flow of information, and this is inverse flow of information. When this transcription will occur? The process of transcription happens during the G1 and G2 phases of interphase of prophase cell cycle. It's know how the information is encoded. To copy the information, we need the help of enzymes. Enzyme is involved in the process of transcription. It is nothing but RNA polymerase enzyme. So RNA polymerase enzyme involves in the process of transcription. Here in case of eukaryote, you can able to find three different types of RNA polymerases. So it is three types here. RNA polymerase 1, which will produce rRNA. RNA polymerase 2, which produces hnRNA or mRNA. hnRNA is known as heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Heterogeneous nuclear RNA. The third type of polymerase, that is RNA polymerase 3, will produce tRNA. This happens in case of eukaryotes. But in case of prokaryotes, there is only one type of RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase is only one. This RNA polymerase will synthesize 3 different types of RNA, that is rRNA, mRNA and tRNA. So the polymerases are of 3 types in case of eukaryotes and only one type in case of prokaryotes. Now we'll move on to the process of transcription in detail. So for the process of transcription to start, we need to separate the DNA strand. So the DNA strand should be separated or it should be uncoiled. So we are separating the DNA strand with the help of RNA polymerase enzyme. It happens only at specific sites of DNA. So it is not going to happen, we are not going to copy the entire length of DNA at one particular site or one particular region where we have to produce specific amino acid. So that particular amino acid sequence is only to be copied from the DNA. So this DNA gets unwinded only at that particular region, not the complete DNA is going to unwind. So the particular sequence, okay, where the information should be encoded, that particular sequence containing DNA strand only will separate during the process of transcription to copy the information. As we all know, the polarity. So one strand runs from 3' to 5' direction, the other will be from 5' to 3 direction. So we have separated the DNA strands. So one strand runs from 3' to 5' direction, the other runs from 5' to 3' direction. We have separated the DNA strand by using RNA polymerase enzyme. So which strand the mRNA has to copy the information. So we'll just see like which strand is going to code the information. Imagine this strand has A, T, G, C, A, G, T. The other strand will pair with the the opposite base pair. A will pair with T, T will pair with A, G will pair with C, C will pair with G, and again A will pair with T, G will pair with C, and T will pair with T. We just separated these 2 strands. Imagine if I am going to copy this information into a mRNA strand. But what I want is, I want this particular, these 3 base pairs together, they form a codon. Codon is always triplet. And this codon will produce one particular amino acid. And this codon will produce one particular amino acid. So I want this information to be copied in mRNA. The exact information should be copied in mRNA. So imagine if I am going to copy this strand into mRNA. So this is the mRNA strand where we are going to copy the sequence. Imagine in case of mRNA, thymine is replaced by uracil, and here this is the DNA strand. So imagine I am going to form a base pair here. So A will pair with T. So instead of T, we are going to write U, that is uracil, and T will pair with A, and G will pair with C, C will pair with G, and again A will pair with, instead of T, we are going to write U here, and G will pair with C, again T will pair with A. So this is the sequence what we have got in mRNA when we copy this information. Okay. So but I want this exact A, T, G should be copied in the mRNA strand, but I am not getting the exact A, T, G here. A is not here. The next base pair is T. T is also not here, and G is also not here. So I'm not getting the exact A, T, G in mRNA strand. So I'm just going to leave this strand, and this strand is named as template strand, or it is also known as non-coding strand. Non-coding strand. It is also known as antisense strand. Here, if I am going to copy the strand which runs from 5' to 3' direction into an mRNA. This is the mRNA. T will pair with A, A will pair with T, we have U here. So C will pair with G, G will pair with C, T will pair with A, C will pair with G, and A will pair with U. So this is what I got when I copy the strands in case of mRNA. Here, imagine this is what I want to copy in my mRNA. I've got the exact amino acid coding here. I've got A, yeah, A is present. Instead of thymine only, we are going to replace uracil. So this is also present. And the next base pair is guanine, that is also present. So the first amino acid producing sequence is correct. When I copied the 5' to 3' end of the DNA. The second amino acid, that is C, I've got C here. A, I've got adenine here. And G, I've got guanine here. So the exact next codon is present, that is producing an amino acid. So which is going to code the information is known as coding strand, or it is also known as non-template strand. Keep in mind that the template strand will always run from 3' direction to the 5' direction, and here the coding strand runs from 5' direction to the 3' direction. Okay, so this is how we are going to copy the information into the mRNA to produce specific amino acid, where we are going to copy the strand which runs from 5' to 3' direction, that is acting as coding strand. That is going to provide the information for the production of specific amino acids. Let's learn about the transcriptional unit. A transcriptional unit consists of a promoter sequence, or it is also known as promoter region. It also consists of a terminator region, and it also has a structural gene. And we already know we need the help of RNA polymerase enzyme to complete the process of transcription. This RNA polymerase enzyme has two factors known as sigma factor. Another factor is known as rho factor. This sigma factor will help in initiation of the process. That is, it helps the RNA polymerase to identify the promoter sequence. And rho factor will help in elongation and termination of transcription process. So these two factors are present along with the RNA polymerase enzyme, but the exact transcription unit is nothing but which contains a promoter sequence, a terminator region, and a structural gene. We will draw a strand. So that is, we have separated the DNA strand to copy the information. We already know one strand is going to run from 3' to 5' end. The other strand is going to be from 5' end to 3' end. So here on the coding strand, you can able to find a promoter sequence. So this is known as the promoter region, which contains the promoter sequences. Okay, so this is present on this strand. As we all know, the strand which runs from 3' to 5' is known as template strand. The strand which runs from 5' to 3' is known as coding strand. You can able to find the promoter sequence attached with the coding strand. What is the promoter sequence? It helps the RNA polymerase to recognize where they have to start synthesizing the RNA. So here, just for an example, I am just writing the sequences here. TA, TA, AT. So this sequence is known as promoter sequence, and these sequences are rich in adenine and thymine. Okay, that is why the region is known as Tata box. That is in case of eukaryotes. In case of prokaryotes, it is named as Pribnow box, named after the discoverer. In eukaryotes, the Tata box is also known as Goldberg-Haugnes box. This promoter sequence will differentiate the template strand from the coding strand, because we are going to copy the information from the coding strand only. The coding strand will contain this AT rich region in the promoter sequence. When this RNA polymerase recognizes the promoter sequence, it comes and binds here. Okay, imagine it is an RNA polymerase. The RNA polymerase enzyme comes and attaches here to start synthesizing the nucleotides or to copy the information from this particular strand. Imagine these are the nucleotides. And here at the end of this strand, we can able to find the terminator sequences. Okay, terminator, as we already know, it helps in terminating the process. This is known as terminator region. In between the promoter and terminator, you can able to find this particular region. So this particular region is known as structural gene. Transcriptional unit should contain a promoter sequence, a terminator region, and also a structural gene to synthesize an mRNA. So here, when DNA polymerase comes and attaches here, it will start to add the nucleotides. It will start to form the opposite base pairs in the mRNA. So the base pairs are formed when they reach this particular region. Okay, when RNA polymerase comes and attaches here, you can able to find one more factor comes here. Okay, this particular factor is known as sigma factor. As I told you already, this sigma factor will help in initiation of this particular process. Okay, it will help the RNA polymerase, it will help the RNA polymerase to attach with the promoter sequence. Okay, so this sigma factor attaches with the RNA polymerase enzyme. When it further moves forward, it falls off from the RNA polymerase enzyme. When they will start to add nucleotide bases in the RNA strand, that is mRNA strand. When they move towards the terminator region, there is one more factor known as Rho factor. So this is DNA polymerase. Here you can able to find the Rho factor. This is Rho factor. This is RNA polymerase. This RNA polymerase along with the Rho factor will help in elongation of the chain, that is adding of nucleotides with the mRNA. As soon as they reach the terminator sequence, the Rho factor falls off from the mRNA strand. Now this strand is known as hnRNA. The newly synthesized mRNA strand is known as hnRNA, or it is also known as heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Heterogeneous nuclear RNA, or it is also known as immature or inactive. Immature or inactive hnRNA or mRNA. If it is monocistron, single gene produces, mono means one. So single gene produces one type of RNA or protein. It will produce one type of RNA or protein. It happens in case of eukaryotes. But in case of prokaryotes, it is known as polysystron. Poly means many. Cystron refers to the functional unit. Functional unit. So, in case of prokaryotes, it is known as polysystron because many genes combine together and they produce one type of RNA or one type of protein. One type of RNA or one type of protein. So that is why it is known as polysystron and monocystron. I am just summarizing it again. The process of transcription is nothing but where the DNA informations are copied into mRNA to produce specific protein. For this process, the complete DNA is not going to unwind. Only the particular segments of DNA is going to unwind. So this unwinding of DNA is happening. This unwinding of DNA happens with the help of RNA polymerase enzyme. RNA polymerase enzyme is of 3 types in case of eukaryotes. It is only one in case of prokaryotes. So what happens here? The DNA strands get separated and I have to know to which strand I have to copy the information. The strand where I am going to copy the information is known as coding strand. This strand which acts as template is known as template strand. So a transcription unit consists of three important structures. One is a promoter sequence, another is structural gene, another one is terminator gene. This promoter sequence are rich in AT base pair, that is adenine and thymine base pair. They are also known as AT rich region, and this region is known as Tata box in case of eukaryotes, which is also known as Goldberg-Hagen's box. But in case of prokaryote, it is known as Pribnow box. So this promoter sequence will help the RNA polymerase to identify where they have to start synthesizing the mRNA. Along with this RNA polymerase, they contain two factors. One factor is known as sigma factor. This sigma factor will help the RNA polymerase to identify the promoter sequence. When they start to add nucleotide, this rho factor comes and attaches with the RNA polymerase. The sigma factor falls off after initiating the process of transcription. So when they move further, they start to add nucleotides. When they reach terminator region, the RNA polymerase stops synthesizing adding the RNA nucleotides. So with the help of rho factor, the RNA polymerase enzyme can able to elongate the chain, and also it can able to stop the process of transcription. So as soon as the process gets over, the newly synthesized RNA is known as hnRNA or heterogeneous RNA or immature RNA or even inactive RNA. Now the structural genes are of two types. One is monocistron, that is found in eukaryote. Mono means single. One gene will code for only one type of RNA or one type of protein. It is known as monocistron. Sometimes the structural gene in case of prokaryote, where it is known as polycistron, that is poly means many. Many genes combine together and they encode for only one gene or one protein. And we learned about two more terms, that is exons and introns. Exons are nothing but the coding sequences found in the DNA or mRNA, or introns are nothing but non-coding sequences. It doesn't carry any information for the production of protein. About the post-transcriptional process, we'll see in the next video. Thank you.